The president has resigned, and you all know that.
And no president lo wethu akasoza sihluphe. Kwayena ebesithi uyahamba. Samnqanda thina. Ekhawume kancinci mhlekazi man. Ethi uya announce ngo 4 o'clock. Sithi uhamba uyapi? Khawume.
His conscience has concluded that he doesn't have what it takes to be a president.
Unento ezimtyayo zo phala phala.
The body might be there, the guy is gone.
A presidency defined by its stunning absenteeism, its shocking carelessness, and a ruling party so self-serving it actively chose to sacrifice the nation's well-being for its own pathetic internal power struggles. Let's talk about the ghost in the union buildings. Cyril Ramaphosa's absenteeism from the pressing issues facing South Africans is not just a suspicion, it's a painful, undeniable reality. Where was the president when our state-owned enterprises bled dry, when Eskom plunged us into perpetual darkness, when Prosa became a graveyard of stolen infrastructure and shattered commuter dreams? We hear grand speeches, we see photo ops at international forums, but where is the tangible, consistent, daily leadership required to fix the foundational rot in our country? Think about the countless hours wasted in power cuts, the businesses collapsing, the lives disrupted. Did we see Ramaphosa personally taking charge, on the ground, holding incompetent ministers accountable, driving urgent solutions? No. We saw task teams, committees, endless engagements, and then, more darkness. It's a pattern of delegating responsibility and then disappearing into the ether, leaving the burden of failure on the already buckling shoulders of ordinary South Africans. And this isn't just about showing up. It's about a fundamental lack of empathy, a chilling carelessness that permeates his approach to the suffering of his own people. Let's cast our minds back to the Marikana massacre. Before he was president, Ramaphosa, then a non-executive director at Lonmin, called for concomitant action against striking miners. The result: 34 mine workers passed. To this day, his role remains a stain, a stark reminder of a man who seems to prioritize corporate interests over human lives. Where was the deep regret, the public reckoning, the genuine remorse that a true leader would offer to a nation scarred by such an event? We got carefully worded statements, legal wrangling, and a distinct impression of a man more concerned with protecting his image than acknowledging the profound human tragedy. Then came the pandemic. While the initial response had some commendable aspects, the cracks soon appeared. The slow, cumbersome vaccine rollout, the scandalous PPE corruption that enriched politically connected individuals while healthcare workers risked their lives, and the devastating impact of lockdowns on an already struggling economy. Where was the decisive, compassionate leadership to protect the most vulnerable? We heard about social compacts and unity, but too often it felt like hollow rhetoric while the suffering persisted, and the rich got richer. The SRD grant, a lifeline for millions, was a constant battle to access, with frustrating bureaucratic hurdles. This wasn't just inefficiency, it was a lack of urgency, a disinterest in the lived realities of millions. And then, the cherry on top of this bitter sundae of disinterest, Phala Phala. A scandal that laid bare the hypocrisy of the anti-corruption champion. Millions of dollars, stashed in a sofa, on a farm, undeclared, unexplained. When the story broke, what was the immediate presidential response? Transparency. Accountability. A full disclosure to the nation he supposedly serves. No. We got silence, evasiveness, and a frantic attempt to shut down investigations. When an independent panel found prima facie evidence that he may have violated the Constitution, the entire political system went into a tailspin. And this brings us to the most infuriating betrayal of all. Mbalula, the ANC Secretary General, recently confirmed what many of us suspected, that Cyril Ramaphosa wanted to resign from the presidency in the face of the Phala Phala scandal. He resolved to leave. And what happened? The ANC, the very party that claims to serve the people, begged him to stay. Let me be crystal clear, those ANC members who begged Cyril Ramaphosa to stay did a monumental, unforgivable disservice to the people of South Africa. What kind of leadership is that? What kind of moral compass guides a party that would prioritize its own internal stability, its own factions, its own precarious hold on power, over the integrity of the highest office in the land? When a president, under the cloud of a serious constitutional violation, is considering stepping down, that is a moment for introspection, for accountability, for putting the nation first. It is a moment to allow the institutions of democracy to function, to allow justice to take its course, and to protect the sanctity of the presidency. Instead, what we saw was a desperate scramble to save face, to protect a tainted leader, because the ANC was terrified of the chaos that a true change in leadership might bring. They were terrified of exposing their own deep divisions, their own lack of viable alternatives. This wasn't about what was best for South Africa. This was about what was best for the ANC. It was about preventing a political earthquake within their ranks, even if it meant sacrificing the trust and faith of an already beleaguered populace. They chose to prop up a man who, by his own reported admission, was ready to walk away, effectively endorsing his questionable conduct and sending a chilling message: in the ANC, party loyalty trumps national integrity. We are a nation grappling with monumental challenges: rampant unemployment, crippling poverty, a healthcare system in crisis, a failing education system, and a pervasive culture of crime and corruption. We need leaders who are present, who are accountable, who are compassionate, and who put the interests of 60 million South Africans above their own political survival. Instead, we have a president who seems to prefer the distant comfort of international diplomacy to the gritty reality of his own country's collapse. We have a president whose past actions reek of a cold, calculated approach to human suffering. And we have a ruling party that, when faced with a pivotal moment of truth, chose to protect its own political hide rather than uphold the values it once claimed to embody.